Hey guys, Adam Retro Moments here, and today we're taking a look at one of these handhelds from China. This one is way smaller and supposed to be way better than the previous one that I tried. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like later on. Now let's go. So let's start opening this up. And I can already tell that it feels much more like a premium product compared to the previous one that I unboxed. And yeah, that feels definitely much better than the previous one. But yeah, this one is much smaller, and the cool part about this one is that it has the Famicom colors. And I definitely like this kind of look. There's also a silver version to this. But yeah, so far it actually feels like a great product by just holding it. And it also seems like the ANBERNIC name, the company, seems to be one of the better ones building these kind of emulation devices. So this is the first one that I'm trying, and I'm definitely curious to see how well it's gonna play the games. So the back buttons has some click to them, and the D-pad and the regular buttons are more mushy, but in a good way. On the side of it here we can find the volume buttons, and there's also 2 slots for the micro SD cards, as you can see here. So finally time to try it out. Also, I gotta say that I updated this one with something called Adam Image, which is an OS for this device and a few other of these handhelds from ANBERNIC. It basically gives this device more of an aesthetic update. Looks much prettier in the menus, and we also get RetroArch as the emulator. So as you can see here, very sleek and nicely designed menus. Let's see what we got in here. Arcades. Final Burn Alpha, which has arcade games, and also SNES, Mega Drive, PC Engine, PlayStation, Master System, and we also have a separate category for all the handhelds. We even got WonderSwan in here, and of course Game Gear, Game Boy, and so on. But I was kinda curious to see how well this is gonna play the PlayStation games. So let's start with that and try to focus on that today. It's kind of incredible how this small little device can now play PS1 games. So we're gonna test a few games out that I like, and let's see how well they play on this device. And just for a comparison, here's a regular PS1 model, and here you can see how small this device actually is. So yeah, that's about it. Let's get to it. The first game that we're gonna try is Panzer Bandit. It's a PS1 game that was only released in Japan, of course. It's a platform game, very anime inspired. And here's the menu of the game. So far I'm really liking the screen, it looks great. And yeah, definitely, that looks great, wow. You can definitely see the pixels very clear. So yeah. It actually feels kind of nice to play too. I didn't think it would actually feel this good since the device is so small. But that's definitely not bad. I could definitely see myself bringing this in a pocket when I'm going somewhere. It's definitely good enough, I feel, at least for a game like this. And if you guys like platformers, I'm sure you will enjoy this one. It has all those cool features like dashing and combos and all of that, and upgrades to the weapons, and yeah, just too bad that this game is on the expensive side. But that's about it. So if you want to get out of the game, you push the power button and you get this menu here. And I'll just show you guys how it looks in the menu. So there's a lot of options to explore here, of course, since this is running on the RetroArch emulator. Yeah, let's try another game out here. Let's go for a 3D game, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Lights Out, Guerrilla Radio. Man, this really brings me back. I played tons of this when I was growing up. Definitely a fun compete with your family members and friends. And yeah, as you can see there, the video quality is actually pretty good, for being a video file on the PS1, of course. Let's start with the first level here. Alright, so let's see if I can do some cool tricks here. Let's see if I still have some skills and play this for a few years at least. And yeah, I gotta say, this actually feels pretty good. It's not a PS1 controller, that's for sure, but it actually works, like with all the buttons and the feel of the buttons. Like it's not too bad actually, not for China handheld at least. So far, this handheld has really impressed me. All right, let's go for another classic, Tekken 3. I used to watch this intro pretty much every time before playing it as a kid. And just for fun, let's check out how the frames are going here on the fighting showcase. Actually looks pretty good so far. So let's get into it. Jin Kazama is my character of choice. So let's see how this plays here. Okay. I can definitely feel some kind of slowdown to this. It's playable, however, but yeah, it's definitely going a little bit too slow here. But I don't know, I can still play it fine, you know, as you can see. Yeah, there's some frame drops here for sure. But another feature with the RetroArch is that you can overclock the games. So now I overclocked the game, and let's see how it's running. I still feel like it's pretty much the same, right? Alright, let's keep going. Gotta play some classic Crash Bandicoot, the first one. Definitely plays better than Tekken. It plays just as good as Tony Hawk and Panzer Bandit. So so far this device is handling the PS1 games pretty well. And I could definitely imagine playing some Crash on the go like this. Works pretty good, just like the other games. But let's try out another fighting game, but a 2D this time. Capcom Vs SNK. Arcade mode. Alright, Capcom or SNK, Capcom or SNK, Capcom. I usually go for the SNK side, so I wanted to try out the Capcom side this time. I'm Turbo, let's go. Alright, here we go. Yeah, that definitely doesn't feel good. Let's see if I can do the Hadoukens. That one works as well. And yeah, I mean, this is not my preferred way of playing fighting games. Especially not 2D fighting games. But yeah, I can do the Hadoukens at least. Feels alright, but yeah, I definitely want an arcade stick for this. But the game looks good, it runs good. Smooth frame rate. Yeah, not bad. Alright, for the next game, let's try out something different from another genre. Let's go with Cotton. Alright, let's get into it. Seems like all the 2D games are playing pretty well on this device so far. So I'm just gonna expect them all to work at this point, I guess. Yeah, looks great as all the other games. And yeah, works just as it should so far. But I mean, with emulation and all that, you know that there can always be some flaws with the games. But I mean, I don't have time to play through them all. It works as far as emulation goes. And here's another shooter from Japan called Harmful Park. Also one of the more desired games from the PS1 library in Japan. So obviously this one is gonna be more on the expensive side. But yeah, this is definitely a really fun game. It's very colorful. And technically I think it's even called Cute 'em Up from the genre Shoot 'em Up. So yeah, there's a bunch of games from that subgenre. And as you guys could see in the beginning, there's only a mono speaker on this device, but I think it's still pretty fine since it's on the back of this device, so it's spreading out evenly. Alright, and now let's go for a run and gun game. Rapid Reload is this one called. Or in US and Europe, Gunner's Heaven. So I just thought about something. If you hold the device like this, it's very uncomfortable, obviously. But it actually makes a huge difference to hold the top buttons as well. It feels much better actually. Definitely my preferred way of playing. Alright, so let's do this. Obviously this game works great as all the other 2D PS1 games, which is very nice. Because, yeah, I don't know. When I'm looking back at the PS1, most of my favorite games are actually 2D. Maybe because I actually skipped them at the time. It was so hot with the new 3D games that no one really cared about the 2D games, at least in my world. But yeah, this works great. Let's try out Tomba now. Another great game, inspired by some anime, of course, in the intro sequence here. And this game was actually on a demo disc when I was younger that I was playing. And I found this game really interesting even back then. Like it's a 2.5D game, platformer, and it holds up great by today. So as all the other platformers out there, you're jumping around, but this one you're jumping on pigs and throwing them away. So that already makes this game unique, right? But yeah, if you guys are into platformers, you should definitely give this one a go. And yeah, frame rate seems to be on par. Everything seems to be working great here. And also I gotta say that I mostly try out the US versions of the games, so they're supposed to run in 60 Hz. And here's a game that means a lot to a lot of people out there. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. A true classic. So we gotta see if it's working, of course. Yeah, everything seems fine so far. Look at that beautiful 3D graphics in the background. How it meshes with the 2D pixels. It's absolutely gorgeous, even by today's standard, I think. But I realized I actually never completed this game, so I definitely gotta do that one day soon. So yeah, that's it for the PS1 games. And here's the menu for the retro core, when you're actually in the core, or the emulator. If you're used to this one, then great, you will feel right at home. But even if you're new to this emulator, I'm sure you will be fine with the default settings. But let's try out, just for fun, some Mega Drive games. I tried out all the SNES games and the Mega Drive games and the NES games before, and yeah, they all run perfectly. So yeah, Contra working great, just like it should. And saturation looks great as well. And not to forget, we gotta try out some Game Boy games, just to see how it looks like on this, because the emulator is pretty good as well. And as you can see, look at that, it looks absolutely beautiful. The screen is actually perfect for this. First thing that I want to show you is that you can actually use different color palettes, like this. So you can choose your preferred way of playing it. So here's one of my favorite Game Boy games, Super Mario Land 2. This felt like a huge game when I was a kid. I couldn't believe that they fit such a big game onto the Game Boy. And as last, let's try out some Neo Geo games. Love that wonderful intro. And this game is called Kabuki Klash. It's actually one of those Neo Geo fighting games that I've never played, so that's why I picked this one now, just to see something new. And yeah, it seems to be running just as good as the other 16-bit games and the Game Boy games. If you're buying this device to play the 2D games, you're definitely not gonna be disappointed, because it runs pretty much everything really well, as far as I can tell. And with the PS1 games, it could be a bit more of a hit or miss, but at least from my side, most of the games were actually working, or playable at least. So yeah, that's it. That's the RG280V from ANBERNIC. Very small pocket-sized handheld, but works great. I can definitely recommend this one to people that are traveling or always on the go. Then this one would be perfect for you. If you guys enjoy this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do so. A lot more videos are coming soon. See you guys!